And we are back with the third segment of the GSMC Basketball Podcast, presented by the GSMC Sports Network. I apologize for that break. I had a little something that I had to do. And in the third segment, we are going to be talking a little bit about OG Anunoby and his brand new contract with the New York Knicks. He is loaded to the brim with this new contract. This is an insane contract. And I mean, it's literally just like so much money coming into this, going into this contract. I'm just pulling up the contract deals right now. And let's see, let me just go ahead and pull these up. He signed a 5-year deal with the Knicks amounting to a total of $210 million, which is, it's a ridiculous amount of money for a role player, in my personal opinion. Obviously, he brings tremendous value to the team, so it's like, you needed him on the team in order to compete with the Celtics regardless. So I don't really see this as a bad signing. Now, only time will tell. Like, we can't really just immediately determine that, oh, this is a bad signing for the New York Knicks. Like, only time will tell with this one, because we have to see sort of how this develops. I learned from my mistake of saying that, some of these players are going to be a player is overpaid, this, that, and the other, because I thought last year that Jaylen Brown, I thought he was ridiculously overpaid, being the most paid athlete in the entirety of the NBA, but that ended up being worth it in the end of the day. The fact that he was the most paid athlete in the NBA, because you kept him and he ended up winning Eastern Conference Finals MVP and the Finals MVP. So that was more than worth it. Definitely worth spending all of that money just to make sure that he doesn't leave. So I can't really say that I'm going to learn from my mistake, and I am not going to say that OG Anunoby is overpaid simply because of, how the contract is now. Like, we still have to see how it develops into the future, and we still have to see, like, just the long-term effects of this contract and, how it works. Because genuinely, I think I said that the Knicks, they have to make sure that they get OG by any means possible. And they ended up getting OG. So now there's, like, really no doubt in my mind that Julius Randle is going to be gone from the Knicks, because this is a huge amount of money to be paying OG Anunoby. And I genuinely think, like, from a glance, like, from what he's done for the team and the value that he brings for the team, I do think that as of right now at least, I think it's a bit worth it, because it's unfortunate that you have to pay him so much, but keeping him on the team was really, like, the important step. Right now, we're just going to, it's only time will really tell just, how good of a move this was. So I think for those of you guys that are saying that he might be overpaid and he might, this is a lot of money for a role player, just wait a little bit, because we still have to see, like, who knows? What if the Knicks win a championship, and what if OG Anunoby actually is able to play defense against some of the best perimeter players in the league? Like, what if he gets a stop on what if he gets all the stops on Tatum? What if he just makes Tatum a non-factor in the entire playoff series? Like, there's so many things that could happen, and there's so many outcomes that it's really, like, obviously, if he just doesn't perform, and if he just pulls a Jordan Poole, just plays really, really bad under the new contract despite playing really, really good when he was previously being a little bit underpaid, only time will tell. So the Knicks, they went 20-3 when OG Anunoby was in the lineup in the regular season. And that's really, like, the most jarring stat that I can really look at when I'm talking about the OG Anunoby and his season, because, like, I mean, seriously, 20-3, that is ridiculous value. While he might not be the primary scorer for the team, the fact that every single time he's playing the Knicks are winning, what more could you ask for? Like, if he's bringing winning, take all the money. Take all the money you want, because winning is the most important thing in this sport, in my opinion. And if you can impact winning you don't have to impact it in scoring. If you can impact your team winning in any single facet of the game, I think you deserve that money. And especially like with the impact that he has. I mean, his defense is amazing. They were up 2-0 against Indiana in the Eastern Conference semifinals before he had to miss the next 4 games after injuring his hamstring. And he scored a playoff career high of 28 points in Game 2. Like, he was a stud in the postseason. And that's the Knicks. They would have beaten the Pacers if they were healthy. They would have beaten the Pacers. And I'm really mad that they got injured like this. It stings, even though, I'm a Nets fan. It stings because the Celtics, I don't like them. But aside from that, I think this is a great contract for OG. Maybe a little bit too much. Maybe just a little bit. Tiny bit. Just a little bit too much. But only time will tell in the future with this player and with the New York Knicks and the squad that they have. The Villanova Knicks, they're amazing. They're fantastic. They have the chemistry already. And on top of that, the defense with OG and even Mikal Bridges, who is also a relatively competent defender. This is a fantastic lineup. This lineup, now the Knicks, they have to worry about getting Isaiah Hartenstein. That is the next player that the Knicks have to worry about in free agency. And then after that, I feel like they have all the pieces that they need to compete with the Celtics. Like, literally from matchup to matchup, I think they have the best possible matchups. Now, honestly, I've been thinking about it, and when you go up against the Celtics, I genuinely think that DiVincenzo needs to be that scoring option coming off the bench. Now, as much as I like DiVincenzo, as much as he was fantastic in the postseason, as great as he was, Mikal Bridges, he's been, in my opinion, I think he's the better player than DiVincenzo. However, maybe the Knicks, they actually have, a loyalty aspect to their starting lineups, and they're going to be like, we're going to put DiVincenzo in the lineup, and you can come off the bench. We'll see how it goes. Not entirely sure how the lineups are going to be, or maybe even Josh Hart is going to be the one that comes off the bench. Who knows? But you know what? Maybe that's a better option. Maybe Josh Hart is probably better coming off the bench, but I was thinking that Josh Hart would be better in the starting lineup, at least against the Celtics, simply because of his defensive presence and the fact that, DiVincenzo, while I'm not saying that he's a bad defender, he's not nearly the same defender as Josh Hart is, in my opinion. And I think that Celtics versus Knicks matchup is going to be legendary. And I look very forward to seeing the Knicks in the postseason, because I know for sure the Brooklyn Nets are not making the postseason whatsoever. Not happening, not even in my wildest dreams. I know that's never going to happen. That's not going to happen for a while. We're in the rebuilding, so I'm all for the rebuild. And the Knicks, they're going to be in the postseason. Hopefully they can compete. Hopefully they can, do something about those Celtics. And, if they end up winning the championship, all power to them. So that's basically all I have for you in the third segment. So now we will go ahead and pivot back to the NBA draft and talk about Bronny James and how he wasn't drafted in the first round and just my overall opinions on him and what I think is going to happen. And I'll do that right after this short break, so be sure to stay tuned.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.